Hello fellow academics and welcome back to the next episode of the Timberborn. Sorry for my microphone the last couple of recordings. I'm still trying to figure this out. I'm having some issues. A lot of building. Oh, interesting. Alright. We are back here and we are in the process still of building our Badwater Discharge. This will finally allow us to have perpetual power, which overall will make our life, well, hopefully, so much easier. Alright, what do we need in order to do this? We do have one technically unemployed beaver. What can that beaver do? We could actually just turn one of the gear workshops back on, and I will do this. It's still really hard to see what's going on. Alright. So while we're waiting for the discharge to be built, we need to figure out what we're gonna do today. And I think it is time that we upgrade our food supply. And in order to do so, what I think would be very cool is to actually start building the hydroponic gardens. They are right here. We do have the science, we do have the water, at least at the moment. We just need to find the space of where to put it. So these hydroponic gardens are a 3x3 building, and I think technically right here would be a great place to actually put them. So what I am going to do once the nighttime ends, which is now. Bad tide is approaching. I think that is okay. What I am gonna do... Wait, why can't I? There we go. I'm gonna remove all of these platforms. Put in single layer platforms. And then top this off with the overhangs. And since it's a 3x3 building, we don't want to go too crazy. We're gonna utilize that. Let's see, this would allow 2 to be placed, and if we are to delete these in the long run, we'd be at 3. Sorry, this would allow 2 to be placed. This right now only allows 1 to be placed. We'll see if we're gonna ultimately do that, but I do need to high prioritize those things. Oh, they can still reach these. Very cool. So it's only the explosive factory that's actually got disconnected. That makes me feel a lot better. This is also on highest priority. I am going to slow down the priority of this, because again, I kind of want these to be finished, because then we can put our hydroponic gardens in. And you know what? I'm also gonna immediately destroy this one. No, don't want both to be destroyed, just one. And then put in, again, a single platform, and then that same overhang that we have put over here. So in it goes, connect it back up. Now that house up here is currently disconnected, which makes, unfortunately, a ton of sense. But soon, hopefully. Yeah, should high prioritize these as well. They are happily building all of these. Metal blocks. The metal blocks are still what we're struggling with. And I think the biggest issue with that is that getting the scrap metal from over here just takes forever. Oh well. Otherwise, let's actually turn on another... No, we don't need another gear workshop for now. We do have one unemployed beaver. So what we can really do is go into here and set this back up to 10. Make these also the lowest priority, because again, the haulers, it's okay if we're just having less of them overall, although they are the ones bringing in the scrap metal. Oh well. Alright, with the bad tide coming in, we're actually not too rushed in terms of the power. We have at least 2 more seasons, one the bad tide and one the normal tide, or normal season, wet season, stranded. Oh no, oh no. Hold on. Guys, I need you to prioritize this one, not the others. I wonder if we will be able to save him. We can actually very quickly. I'd rather him not die, to be honest. Here we go. He is back in. Now this says it's not connected. That's an easy fix. Now we do have, again, some sleeping quarters for our beavers. Right, they finished putting in the overhang right here, which I think now can also mean that I can place or unlock the hydroponic garden. Actually, I want to get rid of this as well. So I have an easy way upwards. Will I though? Huh. Actually, I don't need that. If I expand this from over here, they will have an easy way into the second level on this side. All right. So I'm gonna place already a hydroponic garden. I'm gonna set this to be mushrooms. And then very soon we will be able to place another one of our fermentors. But this does not have any priority whatsoever. And now they're not building these anymore, which kind of makes sense. Actually, they're still... Oh no, this is now finished. This still needs 30 metal blocks. We have 3 unemployed beavers. Crazy. Okay, let me high prioritize these 2. So our explosive factory can resume working because we still need 17 explosives. Which, you know, kind of important to get this thing done. All right, 4 metal blocks are in there already. This has none so far. Look at them just hanging out there. And I think it could also be worthwhile to think about unlocking the hypertubes. So instead of putting another hydroponic garden in here, we could put the hypertube station on this side and then start connecting this, for example, up to our water supply. And then we can technically just continue over this way to our temporary scrap metal supply, which I think would help us out a ton. So I think that is what we will be doing, or planning to be doing. Come on, one more. They're so slow. Time for coffee. Speaking of, I haven't actually given our beavers any coffee. I'm a horrible being. Alright. So let's also plan for coffee while we're at it. So we are now, even though we struggled with food, I am going to remove, actually maybe not all of them. Gonna leave a little bare area in the back here. Also gonna take a forester. Just mirror that over here. And let them deal with all of that. Which should help us, or give us the space to actually plant down some coffee bushes. Again, essential to, you know, just do regular work. All right. This cannot continue building while they are... Oh, our explosive factory is back in. Awesome. But we still need the metal blocks up here. So only 26 more. That's ultimately not too bad. What are they building if they're not doing that? Oh, they can also build this now. Right. So this doesn't need to be the highest priority. I'm going to set this to normal. And I'm slightly prioritizing these. Although I do need some additional space then to bring in the coffee production. But I think this will kind of work out for us as we are going to expand this corner right here to allow for our fermenters to finally move into our building zone. I do unfortunately need to remove these wooden stairs, as I think it will be beneficial for us when we place our overhangs, these ones, right this way. So we can place this. They won't be able to get up here, but I think that is all right. But maybe we should also see what else we can kind of put up here. So for example, how would we make better use of that corner piece right there? What we could do, we do have access to this part here through there. We could actually delete this one and this one and build a longer overhang over this way. And then we get at least one more building block kind of in the back, as well as actually one on top as well. And if we could then even just put overhangs in this direction and utilize that corner space over here a little bit better as well. So many options, so many options. All right. Oh, they have finished this over here. So let's go in and plant all the coffee bushes. I'm going to say all the ones that we need, and that is probably not true. But it is okay for us. All right. I had completely missed that we're in the bad tide already. This is how automatic this works now. So the bad tide becomes kind of pointless. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I'm still gonna kick my butt, but if I'm not careful enough. Why aren't you eating or drinking? Wait. You're only working 16 hours a day, but I think you might have been a hauler. So I think the path you need to take is just too long. All right, but we're almost done with this one. Awesome. Okay, so having seen our beaver over here struggle, I think it is time to unlock the cubeways. So finally we're gonna do this. Put this one down here, like we said, make sure it's connected. And then we need a way to go from here all the way up over to our water area first. So we need to make sure, let's see that we have some space for our tubeway station. Fits in perfectly here, so we're gonna make good use of that. And then regular tubeway for now. Now I do need to go over this, which I guess not a big deal. Yep, 600 science. We do currently have enough science. Oh, actually don't need to make this one a solid one. Just like that. And then we're going back into the regulars. Go down this way. Let's actually first connect this up. And this one I'm gonna make solid because I think later on we will want to sort of expand this upwards. All right, here we go. And first, This doesn't need to be a solid one, because I'm assuming, yeah, the solid ones are more expensive. Yes, they only cost 2 planks more, but why would we spend it if we don't have to? All right. And the next part where we want to keep moving on to is along this way. Now, we're gonna bridge over this way. Actually, no, we're not. Wouldn't it be fun if our beavers took the tubeway underwater? I think at least it would be fun. All right. Let's make sure we're first connected all the way through here, so we have a clear guideline. Put in our hyper tubes this way. And then we're just gonna continue over here. No, this is gonna start to be a little bit ridiculous. It also just costs us more. And it will take them longer. Because while hypertubes are more efficient, I've got the speed increase 1.5 times, something like that. They will still take time for our beavers to get across. All right. We are still not gonna keep it all level, because then, you know, more stuff to build and no need to do that. All right, here we go. Now we can move this up here. Oh, they actually don't need to be the sturdy ones. They can just be the regular ones. So we're gonna move this over here, and then we are on the other side. Not entirely sure where this is leading. Nowhere really, I guess. Well, let's make sure we're destroying these. And with that, you know, we've placed at least a ton. They are... Oh, is it done? Is it done? It is done, and it is open. Let's have a quick look. 1 second. Here we go. It is in, which means we do have perpetual power now. Only through one of these, so I think in the long run, they have also now built all of this up. Some awesome. And now, could you be like this? I don't think you should be here. All right, let's delete that, put in the large water wheel. And this way we have another power supply unit in this corner. Cool. We can also now destroy this if we wanted to. As we will have permanent bad water supply as well. All right. Hydroponic garden is in as well. Very cool. What I think we need to do ultimately is put in, well, not need to, but it would be nice to have another number cruncher to help us get a little bit more science out. All right, so they are already moving things, starting to build all of this. I quite like. Let's actually just wrap up the planning process of this. Making sure, will they actually be able to reach this? Not as it stands right now. All right, so what we will be doing in order to help this out, nope, disappeared. Here we go. Put this down, put another double one down here, and the same over this way. And, you know, this will still help us in the long run if we ever need to expand our water supply with more water pumpers. This way we can easily add more on this side over here. All right, Bad tide is almost over. Oh, I've already destroyed all of these areas right here. Very nice, very nice. So let's go ahead and connect that through. I will put a path on this side just to make sure they can reach it, and then finally get rid of this path right here. We had talked about increasing our water storage area back here, but I think we'll just do it in front, and maybe, like I said, connect this up. Future worries. Definitely future worries. All right. Now let's go in here again and just finish this up. And then put another tube station in here. There we go. All right. They still have a ton to build, of course. They will also, of course, start with the tubeway station that, you know, kind of pointless. But it will be okay. It's too far from the oh, I need to connect this up with pathways. Because long term, I also want to make sure that we build this bad water source, another discharge dome or bad water discharge over this one. So we do have a little bit more power when the drought hits. All right. Otherwise, we're doing actually okay. Maybe it wasn't that long a bad tide. I had completely forgotten to take a look at this. All right. They are also putting in the dynamite over here. This will allow us to store more water, which is going to be good for us. We'll keep this area green as well. And then we have like 2 deep water pools, one here, which will ultimately help us as well. All right. You are actually bored, so I'm gonna stop you now. And then we still have some buildings that are paused, but I think that is okay. However, we should also place more housing options for our beavers. I might actually destroy this, put a path, like a staircase in on this direction, and then we might be able... Let's see, how would we be able to build over this way? What we could do is put one of these bigger platforms like this, staircase up, and then build more like in this direction on top to get like another layer of of buildings up. This looks very strange. I think this is the weirdest way I've played Timberborn yet. I'm loving it though. It's a lot of fun. All right. Like I said, the hydroponic garden is in. It will still take quite a while actually for them to produce the mushrooms. So nonetheless, we need to figure out a way of moving in our fermentors. Okay, bad tide has ended. Regular water is coming back. Awesome, awesome. How much was it? 3,000 science. We finally have the 3,000 science, so let's unlock this and place them down. So we also don't need to worry about this anymore. Once they are in, we want to expand a little bit more on top of this. And actually not that much more expensive than the next smaller overhang. So I'm gonna place, not all the way, but I'm gonna place them like this. And then we should actually be able, yeah, to build. This is actually the perfect size, isn't it? No, it's one too long. All right, so we can also finally build on top here. And then hopefully, nope, still not Not entirely sure how, okay, this would work. So I think this needs to be one level up. And then we can kind of build in this direction. All right. But overall, again, this looks very monstrous. Look at all of our veggies under like the shade. Very nice. It is a bit weird that the shade direction changes when I rotate this around. But, you know, not going to complain, not going to complain. All right. So with this in, we also need to figure out a way to... Oh, hold on. Oh, no pause. No pause. We need to figure out how to get our power in there. And maybe we need to leave one more open. Because we can relatively easy get the power from our smelter up, and I'm gonna keep building this upwards into here. And then we can just go ahead and move this upwards this way. I'm wondering if we need this. Well, technically not for our fermenters. But I think overall we're gonna keep it like that. I could build actually the fermenters over here, but I think I'd rather have storage so I can start building overhangs over our smelters. All right. What is everyone doing? I'm not entirely sure. So let's see. They have finished building this up here. Maybe they're already building. No, they're not starting on this. What are you guys building? All right, the berry bushes, the coffee bushes have grown, which also means we need to very soon unlock brewer, which can actually also go up here with our fermenters. Could be also kind of nice to put the coffee brewer up here, but all right. All speculation anyways. We need more, you know what they're building? They're building the tubeway system. The station is in. Plus 300% speed. 3 times as fast. Very nice. Alright, they're also building all of this up. I forgot where I started with the tube. They're actually also building the next tube station, because I guess why not? And then I'm gonna just make sure they are slightly prioritizing these. So we have a first connection in and things don't just become, you know, super disconnected and I don't want to say pointless, but basically pointless. Oh, you guys are already bringing in all the planks. Very cool. So now we're just waiting for metal blocks. So that shouldn't take too long. We do have 3 smelters. We don't have a ton of scrap metal, at least not over here. Once this is in, I do need a storage area for scrap metal. And maybe we should actually just place. What's going on? Oh, there's one more treated plank in there. Of course there is. So let's go up here. This is one of the reasons why we built this. Can I actually? I can. If I destroy this and put this one over here, I can put this one over there. Oh boy. Wait, How does this... So, okay. 3 over here, 3 over here. If I do this, I get the entrance right there, but I need it to be 1 longer, actually. So I would need it to be like that. Yep. But at the same time, I might as well then just place this one. And then I can place this one, and so on and so on. Right. This is future worries. Gonna set this definitely to scrap metal. And they are now putting in the tubeway station, but I don't know if we're gonna wait. Bottom line is we have the discharge now. Let's actually go down a little bit. Here we go. See it? No, it's not a good way of looking at this. How do you turn off the water again? Work hours, no, water. Here we go. There it is. There's our discharge. Let's close it. Cool. Let's open it up. Very cool. So we do have power now during the droughts, which should completely solve our food problem. Well, for now at least. Coffee is growing in. Mushrooms are growing. We're also getting close to being done with these. Tubeway is coming in. Wow, we have made a comeback. I am very excited about this. Alright, with that, I am going to end this episode right now, and I think the next one will be a good one as everything will just fall into place. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.